You are never going to guess what they gave us for a tester this week. 6 cylinders, but not a V6.
Okay.
Turbocharged, all-wheel drive.
Oh, that sounds good.
And a wet clutch automatic.
Oh,
It's the Turbo S.
a Porsche 911 Turbo S? Oh, where'd you park it?
Right here, the Mazda CX-90 Turbo S. Alright, it's road test time, and as we said, this week we have the Mazda CX-90 Turbo S with us, and a huge thanks to Mazda for lending us this awesome crossover with a trim that causes a little bit of confusion for Porsche files like Jordan. So, if you like car reviews, news, and shenanigans like our European road trip, smash that like button and subscribe for more automotive action. Now, join us to see what this CX-90 Turbo S can do. Mazda gave us a body color matched trim, and Subaru should take note.
Yeah, they really should. What makes us take note of is how sporty this thing is, though, right? I mean, it's 77.6 inches wide, only 68.7 inches tall, so it feels wide and low for an SUV. Mazda really didn't skimp on the lighting either. We have automatic LED headlights with auto leveling and adaptive lighting.
Yeah, so not only does it look good parked, but it actually works when you're out driving at night. And this deep crystal blue paint, under the sunlight, it shimmers in rich blue that shifts with the angle. Perfect for our B-roll.
Yeah, it really suits Mazda's Kodo design language. The long hood, the sculpted body lines, it looks purposeful, athletic, it's modern. And as good as this blue is, what you really want is one of Mazda's Talco Minori colors. The rhodium white, the soul red, machine gray, the artisan red. For only $595, that's a steal, and it looks fantastic.
Absolutely, and that's such a great point, and I'm glad that the beautiful artisan red also found a home on that 35th anniversary edition Miata. I will say the subtle chrome trim does pop on our blue around the windows and on the grille design. It blends refinement with utility, which is ideal for that perfect weekend getaway.
That's right. So if you're looking for something stylish and premium, the CX-90 sure does tick a lot of boxes, but is there anything you didn't like about the design?
Yeah, I kind of have to get nitpicky with this because I really like it and I think it looks great, but the headlight design I think could be improved. It kind of looks like Sid from Ice Age with those two units kind of spread out. So I think like a double unit like you see on the CX-5 would really benefit it.
Totally. And I mean, for all the bright work that is on this car, I think blackout or stealth package would look really good on this too, right?
Another thing that I think would benefit this, especially since Mazda is really trying hard to move up market, would be that hidden rear wiper. We saw that on the Hyundai Tucson we tested. Why can't we have that here on a Mazda?
Yeah, that's true. And considering the styling for this is supposed to be subdued and tame and only the essentials, right? That does kind of jut out at the rear there.
Yeah. All right, so moving inside, this certainly feels like a luxury lounge that you mentioned earlier. Mazda absolutely nailed the interior design here, and the materials with room for up to 8 with a second row bench, though ours only seats 7.
Yeah, I mean, these premium white leather seats are very eye-catching. And on our Turbo S Premium Plus trim, you get Nappa leather, heated and cooled front and second row seats, plus 8-way power for both front passengers and lumbar for the driver. We're riding around in comfort and style here.
True, and the steering wheel, leather wrapped and heated, making those cold mornings a little bit less brutal. The dash layout is also nice and clean and wide, and Mazda uses this curly maple trim pretty much everywhere, and the fabric here on the dash is designed with this hanging stitch to expose the material behind the covering. It's a cool technique and speaks to the craftsmanship here inside this cabin.
And the craftsmanship continues in the second row with plenty of comfortable space. Legroom is great at 39.4 inches back there. It's nearly what we have up here at 41.7 inches. Second row passengers also get their own zone in the 3-zone climate control system and heated and cooled seats to keep everyone comfortable.
Nice detail, and comfort isn't just about the seats, it's also about how everything feels. The doors close with a solid thunk, and surfaces have soft touch materials everywhere that your hand naturally lands. The leather, the wood, the fabric, and metal accents all work very, very well together.
They really do, and before we get into the tech side, let's talk cargo. Behind the third row, it's pretty modest at 16 cubic feet, but if you fold the third row down, it jumps to 40 cubic feet. With both rows folded, you get 75.2 cubic feet, so lots of space.
Yeah, which is exactly what we're looking for in this segment, right? Not just a people mover, but something that you enjoy being in every day.
And as much as I like talking about space, let's talk about the stuff I really like, tech. Up front, we have 12.3-inch center display controlled by a rotary knob that supports wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Yeah, no cables getting in the way of your morning tunes. And for 2026, Mazda also added Alexa built in for climate, nav, and music, so you can focus on the drive.
Yeah, it's a nice touch. And another one is all these USB-C ports. We have them in all 3 rows, and our Premium Plus trim even adds a 150-watt outlet in the cargo area, so it's perfect if you forget to charge your camera gear.
For sure. We also have all the safety tech on this thing. 360-degree view, smart brake support. Front and rear have a full suite of driver assist under Mazda's iActiveSense umbrella.
Yeah, and don't forget that 12.3-inch digital gauge display right in front of you. So that's going to be right under your nose and has heads-up display, and they're both crisp and clean, and it lets you see everything that you need. It's really great to see there, and it's very clean setup.
Absolutely. So there's a lot to like here, both on the tech and interior front. Anything that you don't like?
Well, in terms of tech, I have to say the keyless entry situation is a little weird here. I mean, you walk up to the driver's side door, it unlocks. It doesn't unlock other ones, which you can change in the settings, but if you forget something and you want to go around, you have to use the remote to unlock it.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. So if you have the car configured to only open the driver's door when you open the driver's door by, the touch sensitive nature of it, if you walk around to open the passenger door, maybe to let in a spouse or try to be chivalrous, it doesn't open.
No.
You have to you either have to lock the car and start over, or you have to use the fob to unlock.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. You have a touch sensor over there. When you put your hand on it, that door should just automatically unlock.
Totally agree.
Very frustrating.
Yes.
And the other thing is, the rotary knob. So some folks may not be a fan of controlling this, through a rotary knob. Touchscreens have kind of become the norm. So that kind of feels a little bit dated from a technology standpoint too.
Yeah, I mean, they let you use it with Apple CarPlay, but why not just expand that to everything? Why are we kind of nitpicking what we're using with? I don't know. That's just it's a Mazda thing, I guess.
It is. And one other thing that bothered me, and you really haven't got to notice it yet, but it's interesting because the CX-50 tester we had previously did the same thing. The AC fan speed kind of oscillates, and it doesn't indicate that it's changing the fan speed when you've got the automatic climate control on. So it'll blow harder for a second, then it'll kind of be subdued for a second, then blow harder for a second again. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but both Mazdas have done it, so it's clearly something that's coded within their climate system.
Right, yeah, it's a little nitpicky, but it's kind of weird.
Yeah, kind of weird.
And I will say, also something kind of weird, considering its market segment, we have a 3-row SUV here. It's supposed to be family friendly, but the third row is not power operated. You have to use it manually. So it would be nice, considering the price and considering the market that Mazda's trying to target here, to have that power, even as an option, would be nice.
Exactly, especially on like a top trim like we're in right here with this Turbo S, the Premium Plus. All right, so I think it's time to swap. So let's get you behind the wheel of this Turbo S.
Sounds good. All right, so let's get to the good stuff. Power. And this CX-90 Turbo S has plenty of it, from the 3.3-liter Skyactiv G Turbo inline 6-cylinder, coupled with a mild hybrid system. This thing puts out 340 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque on premium.
And that gets this 4,900-pound brute to 60 in 6.5 seconds, and we'll keep chugging through that quarter mile in 14.9 seconds at 96 miles an hour, which is not bad for an SUV this size. And that mild hybrid bit, what's the deal there? It's not full EV, is it?
Yeah, correct. This isn't the plug-in CX-90. This is Mazda's M-Hybrid boost system that adds an electric motor that assists the engine, especially on start-stop. It gives it a little extra torque and smooths things out. The hybrid system is only 0.33 kilowatt hours.
Yeah, so in practical terms, you get, a little bit better acceleration, and this behaves kind of like a performance SUV, but you're not feeling as much pain at the pump. Our Turbo S is actually rated for 23 miles per gallon in the city, 28 on the highway for about 25 combined, and as you can see by the little display right there that I reset when we took delivery of this car, it is bang on 25 miles per gallon, which I've been doing a little bit of both.
That's great. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And Mazda dials in the sporty feel with utility, and speaking of utility, they also include a rear-biased iActive all-wheel drive system with an 8-speed wet clutch automatic.
That's basically a PDK, right?
Yeah. Right, sure.
And the handling is
kind of built like a fat Miata, which is to say really good for a 3-row SUV, but not great for Miata. And the 275 section width tires really help. While we don't have that Miata agility, this is actually kind of fun to drive for its size.
Exactly, and when you consider the size, it's pretty composed. Plus, with the 3 drive modes making the most of that mild hybrid assist, you get quicker throttle response than you'd expect from the turbo straight 6 alone.
Yeah, so bottom line, if you want a 3-row SUV that feels special when you boot it, it's not just comfy and practical, the CX-90 delivers. It's the rare situation where you can have your cake and eat it too.
That's true, and there's a lot to like about this, but how about anything you don't like about the performance?
So that wet clutch automatic, it can be a little bit jerky from a stop. It's been improved in the 25 and the 26 especially that we're in right now, but some of the early ones were really bad. This one still is not great, but Mazda has been working on that with software updates.
Yeah, the dual clutches are kind of hard to tune that way, but one thing I'm surprised about is the coarseness of the engine sometimes. Mazda's known for having really smooth revving engines, and this one, I guess, because it's their first iteration of this inline 6 in years, it's a little coarse sometimes.
Yeah, it could be a little bit better. Like if you're expecting that silky smooth straight 6 like you find in a BMW, you're not going to find that here. That to say it's not bad, but it just could be a little bit smoother.
For sure.
The ride also is another thing that I'm not a huge fan of. It's just a little bit too firm, and Mazda, was going very, very hard trying to make this thing as fun to drive as the rest of his cars, and they've nailed that, but it also comes at a cost, right? The ride is just a little bit firm in the damping they've chosen.
Yeah, it's certainly a Mazda choice for the segment, right? And most of them are more comfortable in this particular market segment. This one is a little firm. And one other thing that kind of weirds me out is the iStop system. I mean, it does have that hybrid assist, but when you're doing kind of stop and go stuff, it's very noticeable. Around town, while you're driving, it's not too bad, but man, that start stuff, it's not great.
Yeah, the one nice thing that it does do is it'll cut off when you're kind of coasting to a stop, and so you're essentially coasting without the engine running, which is nice. But when you're sitting at a stoplight, sometimes it'll cut on and cut off and cut on and cut off just when it needs that extra juice, because as you said earlier, it only has that tiny little battery, which doesn't hold a ton of charge, only 0.33 kilowatt hours. So you kind of run out of that and you cut on and off, which just is the typical start-stop feeling where you kind of feel that little bit of shake or shudder when it cuts in and out.
All right, now that we've wrapped it up, it's time for Would You Rather?
That's right. We are going to pit this Mazda CX-90 Turbo S against 3 competitors and say which one we would rather have.
Yeah, this top dog CX-90 isn't cheap. Starting at over $57,000, our tester rings in at just over $59,000 delivered. So let's check out our other options.
Yeah, so first up is a pricier option that we tested earlier this year, the Lexus Texas 500H. $70,000 base, 366 horsepower. It's a hybrid, like a true hybrid. 27 miles per gallon in the city, 28 on the highway, 6.8 seconds to 60. Which one would you rather have?
Ooh, I gotta say, for the market segment, I could definitely see the appeal of the Lexus. It's definitely more comfortable. But for my personal driving style, I like the handling and dynamics of this Mazda, even though the ride is a little firm. I'm going with the CX-90.
I am too, which is probably not a huge surprise considering we both like performance driving.
Yep.
The only thing that I would miss on this that the Lexus Texas has is that rear wheel steer.
That's true.
That makes it so much more nimble, but the turning radius on this is actually quite good, so you really don't miss it that much.
No.
And the rest of the equipment I feel like is pretty much on par, and you get better performance and handling out of this. So for me, it's a pretty easy call that I'm going with this and saving 20 grand.
There you go.
All right, so let's come stateside for our next one. We've got the Buick Enclave Avenir, $63,000 base, 328 horsepower, internal combustion, of course, 20 on the city, 27 miles per gallon on the highway, 7 seconds to 60. Which one would you rather have?
Well, I do love the interior of the Enclave. I think they did a great job in the redesign. It looks very upscale. Honestly, pretty similar to this in terms of the material quality and stuff. But the powertrain on that just leaves me wanting a lot. And for that, easily, I would go with this one.
Yeah, I would too. This is, again, shaping up to be a really boring would you rather. But that also speaks to how good the CX-90 is, really, because, I mean, it's less expensive than the top dog Enclave, and you get better performance, just as good materials and build quality. Like, why wouldn't you choose this?
Sure.
Honestly, unless you just kind of want to waft along, I could see maybe if you don't really like the firm suspension here, Buick does a great job with suspension tuning from a comfort standpoint. So maybe that would be the deciding factor. But for people like us, we enjoy the drive, so we're going to choose this pretty much every time.
For sure.
So I guess neither of us would really rather have a Buick.
No, I guess true.
So how about a Hyundai? What about the Palisade calligraphy?
Oh, okay.
So $57,000 base, so starts pretty much the exact same place this one does. Internal combustion, V6, 287 horsepower, a little bit worse fuel mileage, 18 in the city, 24 on the highway, and a pretty lengthy 8 seconds to 60.
Yeah, I mean, I do like what they did with the redesign of the Palisade. I think it looks really great, if a bit derivative from some Land Rover and Range Rover cues. The inside looks nice, but, you know, sitting in it, I have to say the material quality is not up to par with the Mazda. It's one that photographs really well, but when you, on long-term kind of situations, I'm not sure that it would hold up. Plus, again, the powertrain in this is so good, it pulls me towards the Mazda again.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Very boring would you rather, so sorry viewers, but we're definitely aligned on all these picks right now. The Mazda CX-90 is really just that good.
Yeah.
And to your point about the interior, the calligraphy does photograph really well, but when you get up close and personal with it, it definitely falls short of what you see in this Mazda. This Mazda photographs really well and feels really well actually when you're sitting in the vehicle too. So I think they did an outstanding job, and that's what a 3-0 would you rather win for the Mazda.
Yeah.
There you got it. So let's go ahead and find a spot to pull off for our final thoughts.
At the end of the day, the CX-90 Turbo S feels like a crossover built for people who still care about driving, even if their life now requires 3 rows. The styling is a knockout, inside and out, and it clearly shows Mazda's push up market. It looks premium, feels thoughtfully designed, and backs it up with real quality. The inline-6 turbo engine is smooth-ish rather than silky, but the power is absolutely there when you lean into it, and it gives the CX-90 real presence on the road. What really ties it together is the chassis, well-sorted, confidence-inspiring, and surprisingly eager, which is why this big crossover handles far better than it has any right to. Between the Turbo S badge, all-wheel drive, and a name, we'll admit we half expected something wearing a Porsche crest. But what Mazda delivers here stands firmly on its own. This is a crossover that throws out the rulebook on how a family hauler should behave, aimed squarely at drivers who need space but still want to enjoy the drive. Driver's crossover doesn't have to be an oxymoron. It's Mazda's new calling card. And on that fantastic revelation, it's time to end. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us on The Driver's Line. Hit that like button to subscribe for more car reviews, specials, and podcasts.
A special shout out to our partner Drive Shop for fleet management, keeping us fueled up and on the road, enabling us to keep bringing great content to you. A little extra torque and smooths things out. I thought you were supposed to be driving yourself, you stupid. Sorry, okay.
That's gonna be the outtake. I thought you were supposed to be driving yourself, you stupid.
It's always me cursing. Right. God.
All right.
I guess I'm gonna have to drive.